Now, if you've been paying close attention, and I know that you haven't, Mum, but if you have, you'll have noticed something about this balsam stuff. That is, when you're pulling it up, it's really easy. There's a simple technique to getting the roots out, and once you get it every time. And that's a massive problem. Today we're going to find out why, but first let's go over to Clive in the studio.
And now on BBC 12, it's time for Bash of the Day.
Good evening, I'm Phife Bashing and welcome to Bash of the Day. I'm here as ever with Clive Denno. Clive?
Clive?
On with tonight's show. Our first highlight is the bash from TikTok.
Yes, thank you, Clive. We've got Balsam Bashing Ramsbottom here. This is a stellar performance, straight out of the textbook. Look at this technique here. The root comes right out of the ground. That is perfect. The plant is never going to recover from that. I'd say this person is one for the future. Keep your eyes peeled.
Extraordinary. Thanks, Clive. Up next, we have the bash from Instagram with Dave the Plantman. What do you think, Clive?
Well, what can you say about Dave, hey Clive? He's been doing this for a long time now, always a brilliant performer. He really is the Beckham of bashing. Look at the fundamental technique and the diversity. This is maverick stuff. He's hit the top of the plant, not getting the root at all. Nonetheless, that'll prevent it from going to seed. Very effective form of attack, and it results in great results for him. It's about goals, this game. Setting goals and achieving them. Wonderful performance, as ever.
Indeed. Now, the bash you've all been waiting for, the YouTube bash of the day. Clive?
Well, I mean, look at this clown. He clearly doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He's plucked, I'll pause that there, he's plucked at the top of the plant. That's a completely ineffectual method of removing. You want to get to the roots. I really, on this performance, I can't see his career going very far, and he certainly won't be watching the replays of this tonight, repeatedly.
Certainly, let's hope not. That's all we've got time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Thanks, Clive, and thanks, Clive. And we're going to go from one expert to another, because believe it or not, there is a point to all this. Today we're at our local woods, partly because it's a good demonstration and partly because it's really easy to get all the gear down here. Hi Henry.
Oh, John.
How you doing, mate?
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Have a seat. Do you want a brew?
That would be absolutely lovely.
Lovely. You got a cup there?
Yeah.
Nice one. So, Henry, I've brought you here to ask you some questions around the subject of Himalayan balsam.
Great.
Why might I ask you that?
Well, I guess it's quite a important species to know about because obviously a really big invasive species, and so I guess, you know, we need to understand more about it. Like, I I work as a scientist at the University of Manchester, and we don't work directly on Himalayan Balsam, but we do some research that's adjacent to it in soil and ecosystem ecology. So yeah, it's great to come here today and, you know, chat to you about it a bit more.
I hope so. I hope you have a good time. I've only brought oat milk.
That's okay.
Do you want some oat milk?
Yeah, it's the ecological choice, that's good.
Exactly. So, Himalayan Balsam has really shallow roots. We've already established that in our series.
Yeah.
What is the problem with a plant with really shallow roots? Is it a problem?
Yeah, so I guess the main problem with Himalayan Balsam is that when it establishes in an ecosystem, because its roots are so shallow, it can result in soil erosion. So soil erosion is the process whereby soils kind of break down and they wash off and then end up in our rivers. That's a really big issue for aquatic life. And so that increased turbidity, so the lack of light that can then get into those rivers can be a problem for that.
What was that word?
Turbidity.
Turbidity?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that up right here. Turbidity, what does turbidity mean?
I guess if something's more turbid, it's less clear. So.
Okay, turbidity.
Yeah.
Love it. We've not had a word of the week yet, but that's going to be the word of the week, definitely. So that means the light can't get through and normal underwater life can't live its usual life.
Exactly. And also that I guess the soil, that as it comes in, that can bring nutrients with it that can then cause eutrophication, so these algal blooms that then cause a drop in oxygen, and then anything that needs that oxygen to live will then also die. And also, you know, soils, they take like a really long time to build up, you know.
Right.
A few inches, you know, depending on the conditions, very variable, but, you know, you're talking in the scales of hundreds of years sometimes, you know. So if that just kind of washes off and creates a problem and then eventually ends up out to sea, you know, we want to keep soils here, they're really important.
Yeah. The very concept of soil erosion was mind-blowing to me when I first heard about it.
Yeah,
so
scary stuff.
What exactly is soil erosion, and in what ways do you study that?
Yeah, so I'd say we study soil erosion as one part of soil health in general. So, you know, soil erosion can be this kind of physical process where it's being washed off. But, you know, in a lot of my research, I study plant-microbe interactions. So, you know, there's amazing microbial diversity in soils, and we look at how different management regimes, different disturbances to the environment, how it impacts those microbes. And those microbes in turn perform a lot of ecosystem functions for us. You know, they help to keep carbon in soils. The main things that are drawing down the carbon for us are still the plants above ground. Obviously you get algae in oceans, super important as well. But once that carbon's been drawn down, it's kind of in the savings account, right?
Got it. That's a great analogy.
And that's our soils, right? And so, you know, the largest terrestrial store.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess we think of forests and, you know, we think planting trees and we're like, great, and all of this woody biomass is storing carbon and it's great. But there's actually, might have to check the figures, but about 3-4 times the amount of that carbon stored in soils.
Got it.
And so the main guys that are going to then release that carbon from the soils will be these microbes.
Okay.
You know, and so, yeah, we've got research at the moment where we're looking at common mycorrhizal networks. These are special types of fungi that form like very close association with plant roots.
Right.
They actually live like inside the plant cells.
Amazing.
These arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they can connect up other plants and they form these big networks in soils.
Okay.
And we're finding through our research that actually they're really important in keeping this carbon in soils.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just like one aspect of soil health.
Absolutely.
You know, like, so there's soil carbon, we talked about soil erosion.
Yeah.
You know, there's pathogens, a lot of really important, like economically and ecologically important pathogens that live in the soil. So I mean, it's the most biodiverse environment on Earth. So
Under our feet.
Under our feet. We recently did a study in Wigan where we were looking at grassland restoration.
Yep.
And so, you know, we got a 1/4 of a gram of soil. So, you know, we're really talking sort of like pea-sized.
Yeah, sure.
This sort of size.
Okay.
You know, we found around 500 species of fungi.
Wow.
Just under 700 species of bacteria. You know,
And that's in Wigan.
that's in Wigan.
I have no feelings one way or the other about Wigan. No offence, Wigan, whatsoever. That's amazing.
But yeah, like point being, it's right next to us. You know,
Yeah,
like these super diverse environments, and so yeah, it's, like you say, what is there in terms of, you know, biochemical processes that, you know, if we learn more about, could help us have less of an impact on our environment, but maybe maintain our currently unsustainable standard of living, you know.
Well put, yeah. We had ought to stand up and move about and have a look at some balsam roots, hadn't we?
Yeah, let's have a look at some roots.
Should we do that?
Yeah, sounds great.
There's some just here.
Yeah, how convenient.
You may have noticed. So what can you show me? I'm going to lift a bit up.
Yeah.
Lift a bit up. You've got to get the root fully out when you're balsam bashing anyway.
Yeah.
So,
well, there we are.
What do we got? A dead bit.
So we can see that the root system is really small.
Yeah, I mean, what, a few centimetres?
Yeah. So, you know, when we're doing ecological studies, there's something we'll talk about root to shoot ratio.
Oh, right. Okay.
And we can see that there's a lot more growing above ground.
Yeah.
And there's really not much at all. And so, you know, the ability for these roots to hold together that soil is obviously going to be compromised.
Yes.
And I guess if we can imagine the canopy, it's kind of shading out for anything that's growing out underneath. And so it's outcompeted anything else that would be able to hold those roots together.
Yeah, got you. We've got Bramble down here, right in front of us. As a gardener, I know that Bramble is deep.
Yeah.
And it goes everywhere, right?
Should we be brave enough to try and put up some Bramble?
I'll do some Bramble. Why not? Any luck?
See, that shows it enough, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I can't even pull that out. But yeah, you
talk
might.
about holding the soil together.
Yeah, like.
I don't think we've got a chance. What's this? Found a pen. It's not yours, is it?
No, that's not my pen.
Bramble's going deep under.
Yeah, you know.
And is it just as simple as thinking, you know, those roots are really, really deep and the soil sticks around?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they're just making like a web, basically, as the roots start to grow over each other. And then that's pretty much like a mesh. Yeah. And, you know, the brambles, they're not going to totally die back in winter. And so, you know, if we've got all of our Himalayan balsam here that's outcompeted things that, you know, between the two of us, you know, I'm a pretty heavy guy. I couldn't pull that out, you know. And, you know, and so their solid roots will then be able to hold all of that together, and then that'll prevent this soil from running off into rivers, and then, you know.
And never being, the point, I suppose, being never being usable for cultivated food or trees or anything.
Exactly,
that we
or
like.
our wildflowers that we want to see here. So I guess that's the big difference.
Okay. Well, do you think you're going to balsam bash in your future?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to come out now, haven't I? You've roped me in.
I'd love to have you back again, mate. We can talk about more things once I've got a better understanding.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe one day we wouldn't even have to balsam bash and we can just talk about the things that you're interested in. Would that be all right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to leave you here and head off.
Okay.
Thanks, Henry. I haven't washed my hands, is that all right?
No worries.
Take care, pal. People who go outside and study things like soil will always be in the minority. That's just to be expected. But by thinking about something like roots, I think we give ourselves that extra bit of motivation. By pulling up a few square feet of balsam every now and then, you might let something else establish, like this lovely fern here. This wasn't here a few years ago when I started bashing my patch.
Just a quick note from me. Can we never say bash my patch again, please? Thanks.
No promises. Anyway, because I've bashed my patch for a few years now, this fern has a lease of life. I think you can see what I'm getting at, so I won't blather on. Just have a think about it.